What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 8 of the Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. If you guys remember last episode, we kind of went from mid-season up to about the start of February, right before the trade deadline. Trade deadline's in a couple weeks, I believe. And you know what? We're in a decent spot. What are we at? What, 4 weeks? 3 weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, whatever you want to call it. And we sit in a really good spot, which is not a really good spot. I shouldn't say that. We are in an okay spot from kind of where we started and, compared to last year. And with a couple of weeks till the trade deadline, we have to make some important decisions, whether we want to, lose out and get a better pick, or do we want to win and try to make the playoffs, and then, hopefully we can make a run there. Now, off camera, or I guess off recording, I'll call it, not off camera because, I don't use a camera, I made the decision we're going to go for it this year. Mainly because we're 4 points out of third place in our division. We were in a wild card spot. I don't know what happened to that, so it must be whoever we're competing with has moved into that. So we're really close in the wild card. I think we're 1 point off of it now, I believe. So we're close. We're in playoff contention. We're on the bubble. We're very, very close to it. And I believe that a couple trades could put us in the definite kind of playoff push. And in the last episode, I talked about, what would we want to bring to this team? What could we possibly do? What could we improve on? And all of that good stuff, right? If you guys remember last episode, that's what we did. So here's the lineup as it sits right now. What I did also is I changed around our penalty kill strategies to try to help with that issue, because we have the players here to be a good penalty kill team, but maybe just the strategies were off. Maybe that's affecting it. We're not the worst team there, but that's definitely something we can improve on. We're scoring goals. We just need to improve on the defensive side more than anything. So I swapped around some strategies, and hopefully that will fix our issues. I have 2 trades that the one is kind of a minor move. The second one is kind of a really tough decision. So in the last episode, like I said, we were talking about some trades, talking about some possibilities of moving some players, and one of them was goaltender Corey Crawford. We were talking about, do we want to move him while his value is still high? Obviously, last year we sucked. This year he's not really playing any better. And he's 35. He's a pending UFA. And, although I'd love to keep him, and I'd love, obviously, to keep him around, he's just not, pulling his weight as that starting goaltender. So the trade that we're going to make is actually the second trade involving him. And I believe that trade's going to help us a little bit. I mean, hopefully it helps us for more than just this year. That might be a good hint. But let's kind of get into the first trade before we get too far ahead of ourselves. I know I ramble a little bit too much at the start of some of these videos. But we're going to head over to the Arizona Coyotes. Now, the Arizona Coyotes are not really in a playoff push. As you can tell by the record, they're not really doing that well. However, they do have a player that is no kind of stranger to the trade deadline and being traded there. So right down here, Tomas Vanek, $2 million, 1 year, 81 overall, 36 years old. He's playing all right. He's got some numbers down there. And all around, he's going to provide depth scoring and power play. I guess it could help that if we choose to put him on that. And overall, I think this would be a good addition to our team. In order to do that, we have to get rid of one player. And that player's going to be, I think it's David. It might be something else. David Kampf. Nothing really against him. He's kind of filling his role of a fourth liner perfectly. However, his lower overall down there, plus he's 25, he's probably not going to get that much better. And plus, we have some guys in the AHL that want to make a push as well. And, it's pretty clear on why we wanted to get rid of him, just to kind of help every situation, just upgrade our team overall. Plus, this would upgrade a spot later on and potentially for next year as well. So in order to get rid of Camp, as you could probably tell, the trade value does not line up. However, we do have some not unrestricted, unsigned prospects that I wanted to get rid of. So I do have the things on my screen. So I think it's David once again. Could be something else. Is it? Yeah, David Cope. I'm going to go with 5th round pick. What was it, from last year? Yeah, from last year. NHL top 6 forward. Has high potential, though, so he could become something. But to give up, or to get something good, you got to give up something. Not necessarily that Cope is good, but he provides a little bit of trade value, and that means we don't have to give up a pick. So for him, for being a 5th round pick, instead of giving up a 5th round pick, we get rid of him. So we want obviously the best prospects possible on our team. The other one I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but we're going to go down a little bit here all the way to the bottom. And this guy, like I said, not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. Arbor, that guy. 7th round pick from last year. Again, AHL top 2 defenseman. He has high potential, but you know what? I feel like this will be a good trade. So this kind of evens out the trade value. Will it go through, though, is the real question. Trade rejected. So all that work I did to try to avoid giving up picks kind of comes and bites me in the butt. But let's try a 4th and a 5th just to try to get a couple picks back. There we go. So the final trade, as you may remember, I guess you can't really see in the background there, it was Camp, our 2 unsigned prospects, and a 2nd in exchange for Vanek and next year's 4th and 5th round draft picks from Arizona. It took a little bit, but we ended up getting the trade done with Arizona. So we don't have anyone to send down, which is perfect. But let's go put him in the lineup and get on to the next trade. And then on to our 2nd trade. Now this one, like I said, is going to revolve around our goaltender, Corey Crawford. Now, in the last episode, like I said, I'm going to explain a little bit more that we discussed. Do we want to get rid of Crawford? Do we want to call up Howard? What do we want to do? Because we have Anton Forsberg that's up in the NHL right now playing amazing, right? 13-4 as a backup goaltender. So that's huge. Then Howard is on the AHL playing phenomenal as well, 24-11 and 2, I guess you want to consider that. But good numbers. I mean, not the best of numbers, but it's still like really good. So we're happy with that. We have him if we need him. So even if the guy we're going to be trading for doesn't perform, we still have Howard there. We could always try him there. And we have 6 goaltenders. So even if our AHL team makes the playoffs, we still have someone for down there. Obviously, we have 3 guys looking for a spot. But like I said, it's going to revolve around Crawford here. Like I said, I didn't really want to trade him. But if we're going to trade him, now's kind of the time to do that. So we're going to head over to the Nashville Predators. And if you know anything about Nashville, you'll probably already know who I'm talking about. And although they're doing pretty decent, not pretty decent, but they're doing a little bit worse than us, they're a bubble team as well. But they got Pecorine in the net. And although he's getting older as well, we're going to be going for his backup in Yuri Saros. And if I don't really need to explain to you why I'm interested in him, but in case you are, 2-year contract, $1.5 million. That's a great contract. Young goaltender. He's doing all right this season, and actually he's done pretty well overall his entire career, let alone just this season. But obviously he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's 24 years old. Do I really need to say much more? Now, I was like, do I want to make this trade 1-for-1? Not really. Then I was like, wait. We have, a few extra players in the organization that I'm like are either kind of out of a spot or kind of like an in-between NHL, AHL. Kind of, where do I want to put them? And then I was kind of looking at Nashville, and I was like, all right. Saros is actually on the trade block. He's actually on the trade block. He's red, and you can see it. Players on the block down there. So don't think I'm just like making that up. He's on the trade block, so if they want to get rid of him, I will gladly accept that. And as I was looking at Nashville for anything else, I could possibly use, I'm scrolling through all these, and I'm like, all right, I could use him, but would it be viable? I'm looking at Kevin Fiala, and I'm like, no, can't really, because we got too many people looking at their centers, looking at everything. And then I went to the defensive side, and I'm like, all right, so they're still their top 4. They got some depth guys. Nothing really down here I'm really interested in. And then once you get up to, where is it? Right here, Dan Hamhuis. Now, although you'd be like, why would you want to get him? He's old. He's on a 1-year contract, blah, 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 blah. It's like, who cares? We need depth defensemen. And, okay, I didn't put him on the trade. Weird. But, put him there. So, old guy probably wants to win, right? So throw him in the trade. Plus, who are they going to want back? They're probably going to want back a roster player. And I'm like, well, all right. I mean, we had Gustafsson up here, but I was like, wait, he's doing well. Like 6 points in 26 games. That's pretty decent for a third-line defenseman. But then if you guys remember, who did we replace Gustafsson with? Dahlstrom. We replaced him with replaced Dahlstrom with Gustafsson in the lineup. So, in this trade is going to be Dahlstrom. Now, when I was talking about in between AHL, NHL, one, he has to go through waivers. So, I can't really just send him down because I don't really want to give him away for nothing. And, we have other players down there we can definitely use to put in the lineup. And, 25, he could still go to that team, play, be an important role. But, this trade is kind of balanced, but I'm like, once you look at it, it looks like we have a little bit more trade value on our side than on their side. So what I actually did was I'm going to grab a 3rd and a 4th round draft pick from this year. Now, I believe, 2020. Now, I think I meant Nashville's 3rd and 4th, I believe. It might be Columbus's. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't actually specify which pick when I wrote it down. But will this one go through for both Nashville's pick? Sweeten it just a touch. Okay. So they want just a touch, eh? So let's get rid of, no, there we go. Okay, didn't go through. 7th round pick from this year. I don't mind that at all. 7th round pick, just a touch. Now it's a bit low. So what's the difference between just a touch and a bit low? I guess we'll never find out. But how about a 6th round draft pick? That's a bit more than a 7th. There we go. So although it is hard to get rid of Crawford, I feel like this will be better for a team, going forward, especially in the years to come. And especially for this year. Because now Saros gets a chance to play. He gets a chance to be a starter. And it gives Forsberg time to do what he's been doing all year long. And just play and do well. But that is it for the trades today. Let's get through the trade deadline. See if there's any other trades that come through. We'll fix the lineup here in a second. And then let's simulate to the end of the season. And see if we can actually make the playoffs. And, eventually get there. All right, now that we're back into it, let's get up to the trade deadline and see if we have any other trades that come through. I don't anticipate any other trades. I mean, we kind of did everything I wanted to do as far as, fixing our goaltender situation, adding a piece up front, improving that 4th line with Vanek. Kind of did everything I wanted to do there. So let's kind of ride it out and see what happens. So far, we are, 5 wins? 5 wins deep, 6 wins, 7 wins deep right now. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we needed going to the trade deadline. We needed to be on a win streak. Trade block still the same as before. So we just went 8-3 or something like that in this month. So that's perfect. Let's take a quick look at the standings. We're not going to go too in depth with it. But 74 points. We're back in the wild card spot. Where are they sitting? Okay, so that's perfect. So we're in a really good spot right now. I mean, we'd technically be second if we were in the Pacific, but we definitely have that wild card spot. Even if we catch Winnipeg or Colorado, we'd be in an even better spot. So we have some pretty tough games here. But like I said, in kind of the first couple of videos, at least I should have said it if I remember correctly, that after the first year, once we're in the second year, after the trade deadline, we're going to be turning on injuries for after the trade deadline into the playoffs. And then once the playoffs are over, we will turn them off again. So let's turn injuries on right there. And let's continue with the rest of the season, get up to the playoffs, and hopefully we can be in a good spot leading and pushing towards the playoff push. So let's get right into it here. So we're starting at the end of February here. Let's simulate to right after the Calgary game, April 6th. Can we get into it? Now, I wish I could see the standing screen up on this calendar screen, but looks like we got an injury in the AHL. Fix that. Let's keep it going as we move on into March with 2 quick wins against New Jersey, Toronto. Loss against Columbus. All right. But we're in a good spot still. So I did not mean to press best lines. I definitely screwed up the lines down there. Oh, well, I guess we'll fix it later on. So now we got an injury in the NHL. Alex DeBrincat is injured. The strained hamstring March 21st. So I think we're in like the first or second week, if I remember correctly. But we don't actually have an extra forward up here. So let's go call up. Let's see. Who would be the best kind of option to bring up? We end up bringing up our top line right wing, which was Estelle, or whatever his name is. He's Swedish. I don't know what his name is, but you'll see it here in a second. I would have brought up Koivu, but this guy was earning it a little bit better than he was, but he didn't really get that much playing time anyway. But let's go fix the lineups again and get back into the simulation. So the guy that we end up bringing up and then sending back down, I thought he didn't have to go through waivers. That's kind of the main reason I did it. But he had to go through waivers. I took the luck, or tried my luck, I guess I'll call it, and he ended up getting claimed. I think it was by the Rangers, I think it was. But we have a goaltender injury now. We got Forsberg out of the lineup with a hamstring injury. So I want to call up Howard, but I definitely don't want to lose him. Copley, I don't really care that much about, but he hasn't really been playing this year. Hollett, whatever the heck his name is. I guess we'll call up Copley. Like I said, I don't really care about losing him as much as I do Howard. Now, if there was a guy out till like June, I would definitely call him Howard up, because I know he's going to be up there and be out for a while. But with him coming back, I don't want to take the chance. So Saros, you're our starter from now until you keep going. But with those numbers, you can stay in the starter spot as long as you want, because that start you had of what was like 6-4 is now, you can tell, pretty amazing. Let's fix the lineup though and get back into the game. Lines are fixed. 42 wins. With about, 4 weeks or so remaining in the regular season. Still have no clue how the standings are looking. But let's fix this injury and we'll check real quick. So I did just see that our AHL team is confirmed for the playoffs. They sit in second in their division at 87 points. You absolutely love to see that. Samu Koivu leading the way down there. We are sitting in a good spot as well, 91 points. I'd like to say we're in the playoffs, but it's not 100% confirmed. As far as where we sit, we're in a pretty damn good spot. I think we made it almost like 100% here, but until it says officially qualified, I'm not going to say anything. But let's go on this screen. Ottawa's having a rough year. Look at that record, 19-50-8. But it should be in a good spot here. Let's hold out the rest of the year and see how this one goes. So we got, 5 games left? Yeah, so let's get through these. real quick. So there's a win against Ottawa. No real surprise there. We'll put Forsland back in the lineup for the playoffs, but we'll let him kind of ride out this season here. Forsberg, we pretty much made the playoffs already, so I'll put him back in once playoffs start. And it should be a relatively confirmed for playoffs. So Andy Andrioff is on waivers. And since we lost the other guy, I feel like this wouldn't be that bad of a pickup, especially because he's on a 1-year deal. So, hey, we lost the other guy. Let's claim somebody. So, 44 wins. Let's win. We won the last game. Did we make the playoffs? I have not seen it on top yet. But there it is. We have made the playoffs. 96 points to end the season. 1 off from 4th. You love to see that. They had 1 more win. We had an overtime loss. So, hey, I'll take that. Patrick Kane in the lead as far as points go for our team. But this is going to be a longer video. I'm going to run through the stats as quickly as possible. Check the standings. We'll fast forward, see who we're playing in the playoffs. And then we'll wrap up the video. But Patrick Kane leading the way. Surprising he didn't get more than a point per game, but 76 points. Still great nonetheless. Dylan freaking Strome, 70 points out of him. I mean, do I regret getting Duchesne? No. 65 points, absolutely incredible. But you look at a guy like Jonathan Toews, where is he? Way down here, 35 points. Still a great player, don't get me wrong, the leader of this team. But look at these top 2. You need at least 2 or 3 really good centers to compete in the NHL. Look at what we brought to the table this year. But good performances all around from our top 6. We even had our third-line wingers doing really well. Vanek had a big year, obviously. Taves still had a good year. And Kruger and Hayden did exactly what they're supposed to do. They got a bunch of points, although we got to fix the plus-minus on basically everyone. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with that. No one really had any crazy penalty minutes as far as forwards go. Let's check on the defense. Keith on top. Boquist there. Big year for him. 24 points. I think that's his rookie year, right? Yeah, 24 points. We got to work on the plus-minus, but we got to do that as a team. Gardner, Johnson did fine. Gustafson, I'll take that. Positive 14, 9 points. Perfect third-line numbers there. Yokiharu, for being 84 overall, I was just kind of expecting a little bit more out of him. Should we have put him down in the AHL? I guess there's always that what-if factor. But, hey, that's still not a horrible year. I mean, like I said, I'd like to have a little bit more out of him, but that's fine. Hamuse, obviously, we just got for depth. And then we have our goaltender story of Saros, the guy we got at the trade, not the trade deadline, but before the trade deadline for Corey Crawford. And if he can put up numbers like that, he'll be in a good spot for the future. Anton Forsberg, absolutely incredible year from him. Copley, the one game he played in, whatever. I mean, I don't know if we won that game or not. Probably not. He played all 60 minutes, so I would guess that we didn't. Definitely with that loss there. But let's run through the AHL team. I'm not going to go nearly in depth with them, but Howard, good year. Really surprising there. DeMello leading the way down there in points. Saros is as well there. Nothing really too impressive there. But for forward, Sammy Koivu, our first-round draft pick. Second overall, 55 points as a rookie year. Playing the top line, I would like a little bit more, obviously, being a 79 overall in the AHL. I'd like a little bit more out of him. But rookie year, I'll take that. 27 goals, 28 assists for 55 points. You love to see it. Some other guys, if you want to see it, I mean, Andrioff, we just claimed him, obviously. Big year in the AHL. But yeah, we're doing great. I mean, let's go check and see who we're playing in the playoffs for the first round. And it's going to make me wait here. So, all right, regular season's complete. We are facing the Dallas Stars. So, let's go get a quick look at them. We're not going to go too much in depth. Like I said, this video is already going to be long enough. But let's go down to Dallas. So, all right. So, they have their good top line. They're kind of weak down the middle after Sagan. Dzingel, Niskush, and I'm not even trying to pronounce that again. But, all right. So, I mean, they're kind of a decent team. Their defense is actually pretty decent. I mean, Heiskanen, Klingberg. I mean, they got some pretty good defensemen there. I mean, double righties on the third line there. Kind of surprising. And then Bishop and net, obviously, freaking nature he is. How many wins did he have this year? 41-18. So, all right. What did Kudobin do? 11-6. That's not bad. But dang, who do they got scratched? Oh, they got depth for days. So we're facing the Dallas Stars here in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Obviously, off camera, I'll fix all the lines from injuries, make sure they're all back to what they should be. Make sure goaltender rotations are off, fix the AHL lines and rosters and everything we need to do. And we'll move into the playoffs in the next episode. But that is it for me today. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.